Good day everyone, we are group number 7 and we're gonna talk about helping by Bati, Rosario, Gonzales, Tagoctoc, and Regalado. Okay, the picture shows the helping or altruism. This is our intended learning outcomes. Why do we help? When will we help? Who will help? And how can we increase helping?
So, hello everyone. I am Krisha Juliana Bati and I will be discussing the other topic of why do we help. So, first is altruism. Altruism is the opposite of selfishness. It is a motive to increase another's welfare without conscious regard of oneself's interest. So, when we say altruism, it is the unselfish behavior intended to benefit others. Dito, you are helping not because you feel obligated to help, but because you have the desire in your heart to help. So, pag sinabi rin nating altruism, ito yung pagtulong na walang inaantay na kahit anumang kapalit. So, next is altruistic. Altruistic is a person that is concerned and helpful even when no benefit is offered or expected or offer in return. Yun nga, tulad ng sabi ko kanina, di ba ang altruism, ito yung tulong ka na walang inaantay na kapalit. So, ang altruistic naman ay yung tao na gumagawa ng altruism. So, the best example of altruism is the parable of the Good Samaritan. So, the parable of the Good Samaritan illustrates the altruism, and the Samaritan illustrates the altruistic. So, it filled with compassion. The Samaritan is motivated to give stranger time, energy, and money while expecting neither repayment nor appreciation. So, di ba, dun sa parable of the Good Samaritan, there was a man going down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell into the hands of the robbers and leave him half dead. So, nung pababa yung priest and yung Levite, di ba pareho sila ng ginawa? Yung priest and yung Levite pumunta sa other side para maiwasan yung taong nangangailangan ng tulong. While yung Samaritan, pinuntahan niya yung tao na nangangailangan ng tulong and tinulungan niya ito without expecting anything in return. So, doon, makikita yung altruism behavior. So, next is social exchange and social norms. So, several theories of helping agree that helping behavior benefits the giver as well as the receiver. According to FOA and FOA 1975, we exchange not only for goods, but also for love, service, information, and etc. So next is social exchange theory. The theory that human interaction are transactions that aim to maximize one's rewards and minimize one's cost. So, dito, we behave according to the outcome of the social exchange process. So, also, we made decision by weighing the reward if it is beneficial to us or yung cost na kung ano yung hindi natin makukuha or kung ano yung mawawala sa atin. So, for example, someone asks you to join in a blood drive donation sa campus nyo. If mas mahigitan ng cost of donating, which is feeling good about helping someone or mafulfill yung thought mo na makakatulong ka sa ibang tao kesa dun sa cost of not donating na possible na isipin mo magsisave ka ng time or energy and also pwedeng discomfort ito sa'yo and pwedeng magkaroon ka ng anxiety dito. So, social exchange theory, subtle calculation precedes that the decisions to help or not. So, dito sa social exchange theory, ito yung decision mo na kung tutulong ka ba or hindi, pero it depends sa reward or dun sa cost na makukuha mo. So, next is reward. So, reward, it motives helping. It may be internal or external. So, when we say external reward, it is all about in money, relationship with other people, material things. So, when business donate money to their corporate images, or when someone offers a ride hoping to receive appreciation or friendship, that reward is external. So, when we say internal reward naman, it is the feelings you got from receiving reward, like peace, calm mind, and positive emotions. So, next is egoism. Egoism is a motive to increases one's own welfare, the opposite of altruism, which aim to increase another's welfare. So when we say egoism, it is the opposite of altruism. Egoism holds that people seek to pursue their own or self-interest. And it is also putting yourself first and putting yourself in your own interest before anything or anyone else. So, kapag sinabing egoism, it is all about self-centeredness. While yung altruism naman is all about selflessness. So, next is guilt. People will do whatever they can to expunge the guilt and to relieve their bad feelings. So, throughout the record history, guilt has been so painful emotion, and so painful that we will act in ways that avoid guilt feelings. So, dito sa guilt, pwedeng tumutulong ka para hindi ka magkaroon ng guilt feelings, or magi-guilt ka because you are capable to help but you are not helping.
Good day everyone, I am Gonzales and I'm here to discuss the other factor of why do individual help. Isa dito is the social norms. The definition of the social norms is the art of our lives. This is how the society taught us what we should do. And as it said, it has something to do with the social expectation. Dito sa social norms, parang it pushes us individual to help others without any reason, purposes, or expectation in return. For example, kapag ka nakakita ka ng wallet sa daan, it is your responsibility or duty to give it back or to return it to the rightful owner. And isa pa dito is yung mismo sa loob ng bahay. For example, sa gawaing bahay nga, if you see your parents na nahihirapan sa mga gawaing bahay, syempre as a child and bilang din na nakatira ka sa iisang bahay, it's your responsibility na gawin din yung mga gawain doon. Parang give and take lang. And then there are two types of social norms that motivate the altruism, yung diniscuss nung naunang reporter. First is the reciprocity norm, and then the social responsibility norm. The first type is the reciprocity norm. This is the expectation that people will help, not hurt those people who help them. Ito naman yung common sa ating mga Pilipino, yung tinatawag natin na utang na loob. Dito na once na yung tao is natulungan tayo before, parang it made us an idea to, we should return it to them. And kapag tayo hindi nakapag-comply doon or nakapag-reciprocate, most of the times we feel threatened. Minsan inaabot tayo sometimes inaabot tayo ng hiya, or we feel bad if hindi natin napapantayan or nasusuklian man lang kung ano yung ginawa nila dati para sa atin. And it is the negative effect to us individual, para kasing it pressures us. idea dito is the gender and receiving help. And alam naman natin is common sa ating mga tao and very observable naman na alam natin na yung mga babae, sila yung mga kadalasan na nakakatanggap ng tulong galing sa tao, especially sa mga kahihiyan. Evolutionary psychology, as suggested by the title of Richard Dawkins' popular book, The Selfish Gene, evolutionary psychology offers a humbling human image, one that psychologist Donald Campbell called a biological reaffirmation of a deep, serving original sin. Ito naman sa evolutionary, it has something to do with our genes, culture and practices na namamana pa natin sa ating mga ninuno. And considering the book of that been published by Richard Dawkins, The Selfish Gene, sinasabi dito na kapag tayo ay laging nakafocus lang sa iba, na tulungan natin sila palagi, we are not able to survive and help our own selves. The next factor that we have is what we call the kin selection, and it has something to do with the evolution of selected altruism toward one's close relatives to enhance the survival of mutually shared genes. It is commonly or visible sa kultura nating mga Pilipino na kung saan we are mas priority natin and we have a huge responsibility to help our own family or yung relatives natin. Ito yung kaugalian na likas sa atin na uunahin muna nating tulungan yung mga kamag-anak at yung ating mga pamilya kaysa dun sa iba. Empathy. This is putting oneself in other shoes. Ito yung isa din sa mga factor na kinoconsider natin why do individual help. Ito, konektado dito ang ating emotion and understanding on that certain situation that others have. At dito, mas nakakapag-concept tayo ng idea to give reasons to put a hand on the people who are suffering or who needs help.
Hi, my name is Jovelyn Tagoctoc and I'm going to report, when will we help? So, kailan nga ba tayo tutulong, no? First, let's define bystander. Bystander, they are individuals who are present in the event or witness a condition that perpetuate violence but not taking the action. So, sila daw yung mga tao na present sa isang incident pero hindi sila nag-take ng action. So, bakit kaya, no? Malalaman natin later. Next is the number of bystander. People are more likely to help someone if no one sees him helping someone else, because people would assume it's his responsibility to help or to take action. So, ganun nga, minsan, totoo talaga to, no? Na kapag tayo lang yung kasama ng isang tao and that incident happened to that someone na kasama mo, you are the responsibility. Yung responsibility is nasa iyo to take na action. So, paano naman kapag kunyari, imagine, nasa crowd place ka, tapos may isang tao na nahimatay. Would you help? Siyempre, karamihan sa atin sasabihin, oo naman, tutulong ako kasi nangangailangan yung tao. Pero, there are social psychologists na nagsasabi na they tell different stories. Sabi din sa ibang research na kapag daw sa isang group maraming tao, mas mababa daw yung chance na may tutulong. So, bakit yun nangyayari, no? Sa dami daw kasi ng tao na nandun, mapifeel mo na hindi lang ikaw yung may responsibility na mag-take ng action. And yun yung tinatawag na bystander effect. Bystander effect essentially state that an individual may feel less inclined to take action because of the presence of others in the group. So, paano ba nangyayari yun, ano? First is meron tayong tinatawag na noticing. Sa noticing is siguro dito yung mapapansin mo na there is something happening. So, next is yung interpreting. I-interpret mo muna siya bago ka mag-take ng action. So, dun din papasok si pluralistic ignorance. So, dito, parang magiging observant ka na titingnan mo muna yung mga kasama mo kung kalmado ba sila or hindi. Tapos kapag nakita mo naman na kalmado, syempre dun mo naman isip na, ay baka hindi to emergency kasi kalmado lang sila. Parang yung dun sa an example ko, may nahimatay, di ba? Syempre ikaw hindi ka kagad magte-take ng action kasi isipin mo, kulang ka sa medical knowledge. Hindi mo din alam kung paano mag-assist ng unconscious na tao. So, iisipin mo na baka may iba pa dito sa kasama ko na mas nakakaalam ng dapat na gawin. So, doon papasok yung assuming responsibility. Assuming responsibility, it is when people assume someone else would help. So, yun na nga, ina-assume mo na may ibang tutulong bukod sa'yo. And doon na pumapasok si diffusion of responsibility. Ito yung mas ina-explain niya yung bystander effect. It is when individual are in the presence of others, they feel less personal responsibility to take action when in a situation where help is needed. So, yun na nga, no? Parang simpleng pagtulog o kahit yung simpleng pagtawag ng emergency hotline or 911 hindi nagawa. Kasi nga, umaasa sila na may ibang tao na gagawa nun. And yung isa dun sa famous na case na nangyari is yung kay Kitty Gineves. Isa siyang 28 years old na isa ring bar manager sa New York City. Namatay siya kasi na-rape siya, pinagsasaksak siya ng marami, tapos ninakawan. So, sigaw siya ng sigaw, tapos walang gustong tumulong. Tapos, sabi pa daw na may 38 tao daw na naka-witness na nangyari sa kanya, pero namatay pa rin si Kitty. So, paano nangyayari yun na may 38 tao na naka-witness pero walang tumulong, no? And dun na pumapasok nga yung bystander effect. Kasi base daw sa interview na ginawa sa ilang tao dun sa 38 na yun, na ang kadalasan daw na sagot nila is, hindi na naman daw sila yung tao doon. So, may iba pa daw. So, yun parang akala may nakatawag na ganito, ganyan. Eh di, hindi na nakatulong. Hindi na patay na lang si Kitty Gineves. Next is yung helping when someone else does. People would likely to help if they saw someone else help another. So, minsan may ganitong situation na parang kapag may nakita kang tumulong, it provoke your chills in your urge to help them, to do such thing na ginagawa nila. And then yung parang model, di ba? Na parang, na-inspired akong tumulong kasi siya nga nakakatulong. Na ganun. Next is yung time pressure. People are less likely to help when they are busy. Totoo naman to, na kahit tayo din naman, mapapansin natin sa sarili natin yun. For example is, dadaan ka sa isang street, nagmamadali ka kasi may gagawin ka or busy ka. Pag may nanghingi sa'yo na malimos, ganyan, syempre, hindi mo na mapapansin kasi nga busy ka. Next is yung similarity. We would help people who are like us. Sometimes, totoo naman to, na mas natutulungan natin yung kapareho natin. Kasi 'di ba minsan we feel connection, 'di ba? Towards them na para nakaka-relate ako sa taong to. Tutulungan ko to. Nandun yung urge mo din. Yun lang po. Thank you.
everyone. My name is Regalado from 3C1 and I will be tackle about who will help and who are likely the helpers. Who are likely the helpers? Personality traits. There are reasons why personality should be rather unimportant in determining people's reactions to the emergency. For one thing, the situational forces affecting a person's decision are very strong. From Bib Latanay and John Darley. There are some studies from Jews in Nazi Europe that they reveal a similar conclusion. Although the social context clearly influenced willingness to help, there was no definable set of altruistic personality traits. Conformity too seems more influenced by the situation than by measurable personality traits. Attitudes and trait measures seldom predict a specific act. First, they have found individual differences. Kagaya nga natin, may kanya-kanya tayong differences kung paano tayo tumulong, kung ano yung way natin ng pagtulong, kung ano lang yung makakaya natin sa pagtulong na yun. In helpfulness and shown that those differences persist over time and are noticed by one's peers. Second, the network of traits that predispose a person to helpfulness. Those high in positive emotionally, empathy, and self-efficacy are most likely to be concerned and helpful. Third study about the personality traits is that the particular situation, on how they will react, on how we will react on a situation, on a particular situation. Gender. Why gender? Alam naman natin na we have different level of pagiging matulungin between the both gender and also from LGBTQA++ community. And there are some study from Alice Eagley and Maureen Crowley reported that when faced with potentially dangerous situation in which strangers need help, katulad ng yung mga flat tire, falling in a subway, about sa mga kuryente, sa mga tubo-tubo, ganon, men are more often to help. Like, they volunteer to help that kind of situation. While in a safer situation, such as volunteering to help with experiment or spend time with children with developmental disabilities, women are slightly more likely to help. From a survey of UCLA, entering American collegians, 63% of men and 75% of women rated helping others in difficulty as very important or essential from Pryor and others to 2007. Women also have been as likely as or more likely than men to risk death as Holocaust rescuer to donate kidney and volunteer with the Peace Corps and Doctors of the World from Becker and Eagley to 2004. Thus, the gender difference interact with depends on the situation. Faced with a friend's problems, women respond with greater empathy and spend more time helping. By George Aders naman siya, of 1998. Pagdating naman sa pagtulong sa religious faith, predicts long-term altruism as reflected in volunteerism and charitable contribution. Meaning, they are more likely on volunteering and to charity, something like that po. And those religiously committed have reported volunteering more hours as tutors, relief worker, and campaigners for social justice than have the religiously uncommitted. From the study of Benson and others, 1980.
Hi everyone, this is Jason Rosario from 3C1 BS Psychology. And now we already talk about what, who, and when, or why we help. And that factors give us the basic concepts of helping. Now, dumako tayo sa how can we increase helping. Given the scenario na meron tayong tinatawag na bystander effect or bystanders sa mga taong bystander, how can we encourage them to slow down and turn their attention outward to be the presence or to be the one who help. Yan. So on this chapter, mapag-uusapan natin paano natin may improve and also mailabas yung ating inner altruism. Ayan. So, samahan niyo ako. On the next slide is we have a three ways. Okay, the first one is the reduce ambiguity and increase responsibility. Okay, on the reduce ambiguity and increase responsibility, when you say ambiguity, okay, that means you are doubtful or uncertain, especially from obscurity or indistinctness. Okay, so we should reduce ambiguity and increase responsibility by helping should increase if we prone to people to correctly interpret an incident and assume responsibility. Meaning to say that as a individual, we should take or increase our responsibility on the things na pananagatan natin. Kasi as an individual or citizen, we are part of this country or we are part of a community that we should be responsible enough for the things na kailangan nating i-contribute. And also, meaning to say that if we prone to interpret the incident or interpret yung mga situation, we tend to assume responsibility. So on this number one point or in this way, we should reduce the ambiguity. Meaning to say na dapat hindi, we should less na yung bahala na, sila na bahala dyan, or yan, kaya na nila yan. Kasi lahat tayo or everything that happens on our area is our responsibility. Because we are part on this one. Because you are the part or you're in group of that. So you should have a responsibility. Kaya, ayun, the number one is how can we increase helping by reducing ambiguity and increase responsibility. Actually, ambiguity is not bad, but we should reduce or not too much because being so much ambiguous or ambiguous is can lead to uncertain circumstances. The second way is having a guilt and concern for self-image. Okay, when you say guilt, this is one that we feel na guilty or you are parang merong in your inner self na parang dapat you should do it or parang may ginawa ka dapat ganun or parang may alam ka, that's the guilt. And when you say concern for the self-image, is the self-image, okay, from its definition, self-image is the personal view or mental picture that we have or ourselves, okay, sa sarili natin. Self-image is an internal dictionary that describes the characteristic of the self, including such things as intelligent, beautiful, ugly, selfish, and kind. Okay? From its word, guilt and concern for self-image. Okay? As an individual, sabi nga sa under reference that we have, guilty people will act to reduce guilt and restore their self-worth. Okay? Self-image and self-worth are interconnected by each other because when you have a great self-image, you're gonna have your you can increase your self-worth because you know what is worth. And in increasing our helping here is we should be alam natin sa sarili natin na may guilt ka sa sarili mo in order that you can have the word peace of mind or you can have the self-worth that you deserve. You already know that you are taking the responsibility of the things that you have. Yan. So, yeah. Okay. So, in the guilt and concern for self-image, okay, according to, there are studies that made here by Richard Katz of 1978, they using reprimands like this or naglagay sila ng do not touch sign. Okay? Halimbawa na lang is, have you ever encounter na bawal tumawid, nakakamatay? Of course, if may makikita tayong tatawid, tutulungan nating ituro sa kanila kung saan yung tamang tawiran. And on that, we show the concern for the self-image ng ibang tao. Of course, ayaw natin silang mapahiya. So, ituturo natin yung tamang tawiran pa sa kanila. And according to Richard, that using reprimands like this make those who disobey feel guilty, shortly offering help thereafter. After nating ma-feel or kasi kapag may mga certain rules na feel mo na guilty ka, after that you shortly offer na help, of course, dahil gusto mong matulungan you are concerned for their self-image and you are concerned for that person, meaning to say na tutulungan mo siya. And that's the one of the study putting do not sign. So to show the guilt and concern for other people and for yourself also. And next is ask for contribution that is so small will be hard to say no. In this side, mapag-usapan natin later ang door in the face technique. But first is unahin muna natin sa labeling. Okay, labeling people as helpful can also strengthen unhelpful self-image. Telling someone that they are generous, kind, etc. and can be more willing to help again. Of course, when we label some people, we tend to, kapag sinabihan natin silang ng napakagaling, ganyan, thank you so much, you're so generous, napaka matulungin mo, ganyan, people will tend to have a self-image, of course. And next time na mangyayari sa kanila, they have a guilt in their heart and they're passionate to help the other as well on the next scenarios. And okay, next is the ask for contribution that is so small will be hard to say no. Okay, on this hard to say no, we have in a door in the face technique, a strategy for gaining concession after someone turns down a large request. The same requester encounter offers with a more reasonable request. On the door in the face technique, actually this is a compliance method that we already talked about on conformity and if I'm not mistaken in other last groups. And on this technique is the persuader attempts to convince the respondent to comply by making a large request. Halimbawa na lang is you are requesting for someone and sabi mo, need ko ng help kailangan ko ng, let's say, kailangan ko ng 1 million, pautang naman. And of course, medyo malaki ang 1 million because that is so big money. And after that, is magka-counter offer ka o mag-offer ka na naman ng panibago na can you pwede mo bang kung hindi mo ako papautangin, pwede mo bang sabihin dun sa kapatid mo na pautangin ako, ganyan. On that is yung tao is tend to help because yung taong yon hindi siya makaka-no because that is a small things for them. And remember, small things ay mahirap hindian. Of course. O the task din, di ba? Or pwede rin sa research, let's say, example that you are on a research. And meron kang kagrupo na sabi mo, gawin mo ngayon chapter 4 kasi ang hirap ganyan. Siyempre, yung kagrupo mo nahihirapan din. And your kagrupo will be tend to parang parang i-decline niya yung request mo. And after that, after declining the request, sabi mo, pwedeng mag-ano ka na lang ng pansit canton, kahit yun na lang. So, on the door in the face technique, okay, we tend to feel the person guilty and they tend to concern for their self-image so that tutulong sila kahit alam kasi nilang small things And on that, and the reality on this is we are all people do not say no if the tasks are small or napaka-simple lang ng task. Okay? So that is the door in the face technique, and yun, we tend to build guilt and concern for other self-image and as well as our own self-image. Lastly, on the ways to how can we increase helping is socializing altruism. So when you say socializing altruism is we tend to use the other people, or we tend to socialize from its word socialize to know more about altruism or applying it to other people or kapag on large group, because sinabi dito itong socializing. Okay? Okay. Sa ating first na social Okay, we have a 5 ways to socialize altruism. The first is teaching moral inclusion, modeling altruism, learning by doing. Number 4, attributing helpful behavior to altruistic motives, learning about altruism. The first way is teaching moral inclusion. Okay. Ngayon is pag-differentiate natin ang dalawa, moral exclusion and moral inclusion. Okay, when you say moral inclusion, that regarding others within one circles of moral concern. And while on the other hand, the moral exclusion, perception of certain individuals or group as outside the boundary with which one applies moral values and rules of fairness. First one is kapag sinabing moral exclusion, this is a situation distinct as severity such as war, genocide, and slavery. Some controversial are abortion, immigration, and death penalty. Ngayon, ang moral inclusion is we already know that moral, okay? All of us has a moral intent, or every culture has a moral, okay? And sa isang moral ng tao, we should teach a moral inclusion. Because when you say moral inclusion, you are on the group and you are teaching the right. And on the ethics, part in ethics is immoral. You know what is right and what is wrong. Now, let's give an scenario. So, someone is humihingi ng tulong na gusto magpa-abortion, ganyan. And you know that that is not good or that is not right. But kapag tinulungan mo sila, that is part of moral exclusion because you did a wide controversy abortion, but you tend to help. Sometimes hindi lahat ng pagtulong ay tama. Minsan dapat ilugar din natin kung paano tayo tutulong or kung paano natin gawin yung pagtulong. Kasi hindi naman porket kapag tinulungan natin ang isang tao, ito, tutulungan ko to, ganyan. It doesn't mean na you are good. Okay? Sometimes we should think twice before we did something na makaka-apekto. Kasi baka mamaya yung pagtulong na yun is outside sa moral mo bilang tao. And hindi masama tumulong, pero kapag tumulong, we should think twice then. So, we should teaching moral inclusion. And the second way how to socialize altruism is modeling altruism. From its word modeling, kapag sinabing model, it takes or dito papasok yung mga caretakers natin and yun sa mga taong naka-impluwensya sa atin. Okay? In social psychology, lahat tayo is interconnected by each other, by hierarchy, by our family, by our friends, and by the other people. And when you say modeling altruism, dito papasok on how others affect us or how others na minodel tayo na makakapekto tayo. First one is the real life modeling. When we see and find others helping, we become more likely to offer assistance. Of course, kapag may friend kang matulungin or you grow on the family na nagtutulungan and yung parents mo is parte ng charitable institution and you are tend to help them. And of course, diyan napapasok si real life modeling na nakikita mo sa ibang tao kaya ina-adapt mo. Okay? And according sa some of the studies, ayan, yung kay Robert Sean Lundy and co-workers niya noong 2003, publicize the rampant tax cheating, but instead, they emphasize the norm of people's widespread and honesty and cleanliness. So that, according to the study, bumaba yung percentage ng pagka tax cheating or yung mga dinadaya yung mga taxes. So, ang ginawa lang nila is gumamit nila or ginamitan nila ng strategiya yung pagiging have a more parang seminar about sa norms and also, ayun, doon na modeling or na model nila yung persons and yung mga co-workers nila. So on our home scenario naman, 'di ba? We are tend to be modeled by our parents because parents natin yun, kailangan natin sundin. And not only parents natin kailangan natin sundin, we tend to not to comply, but we tend to be absorb, of course. Kasi you are part of the group, you tend to be socialized. Dapat ano ako kasama ako dito, ganyan. Inward ako, so kailangan tumulong din ako. So on that, nagagaya natin on the real life scenario. So yun yung real life modeling. While in the media modeling, when we saw a post in the social media and you saw the highlights, halimbawa ngayon is nakita kong may post ang Philippine Daily Inquirer and parang nagrereklamo sila about sa pagtaas ng presyo. And now, you tend to nagbabasa ka ng comments at nakikita mo yung reaction nila and you need to, parang ang tend mo is tumulong din na magko-comment ka ng, oo nga, ganyan, buisit na ganyan, ng government yan, ganyan. And of course, on that, sa media modeling is we tend to model by pro-social, okay? Siyempre kapag mas pabor sa ibang tao, papabor ka na din. Kasi in your mind is, nandun na dapat pasok ako dun sa standards ng iba. And once that you are part of that group, you tend to think that this is part or I am the part of this one. So that, on that, kapag kailangang humingi sila ng tulong or kapag sa social media, tutulong ka din kasi nakikita mo. And we tend to inspire sa mga influencers natin ngayon. Okay. When you say media modeling, papasok din dito ang social media. We tend to influence by our influencer, YouTubers, pag nakita nating tumulong sila, parang may inspired ka ring tumulong. So, ayun, yun sa modeling altruism. Next is number 3 is learning by doing. We learn by doing because sabi nga ni Staub, ang immoral behavior fuels immoral attitudes. Helping increases mutual helping. So, kung ano man yung behavior or kung ano man yung ginagawa natin ngayon, meron tayong mga natututunan and maraming tao or nagpaparealize or situation sa atin on how we promote the self-perception that we should be care for the other people, which promotes further helping. The more that we perceive our self-perception or kapag may na-realize or the more na mas marami kang nangyaring experiences, the more na mas mapopromote or mas mabibigyan niya emphasis ng pagtulong, of course. Because, ayan, kagaya ngayon, sa pandemic, di ba? Lahat tayo isa walang-wala. And, wala ka rin magawa, but in your heart, parang may nakikita ka na, alam mo, yung mga friends mo tumutulong, parang you tend to help them too. Kasi nakikita mo sa kanila. And also, you experience it na minsan na walang tumutulong sa'yo, na tinutulungan mo lang sarili mo, ganyan. We tend to experience some things and yun, on that, we learning by doing, okay? We learn by our experiences, our perceptions, and other experiences or our past events as well. We can add that. Kasi, yun, natututunan natin kung paano mag-care and maging matulungin sa kapwa natin. Okay, number 4 is attributing helpful behavior to altruistic motives. Okay, this is the attributing helpful behavior. Now, kapag bibigyan kita ng scenario na ang halimbawa, you have your son and tinuro mo sa son mo na, oy, tulungan natin yan, bibilang kitang ice cream, ganyan. And now, when we attribute helpful behavior to other people or kapag tinuruan natin or nag-foster tayo sa isang person kung paano tumulong, is we should have altruistic motives. Okay? Not only na motives na dun sa reward. Okay? Kasi kapag nakafocus tayo sa reward always, hindi maganda yung magiging outcome nito. So, ang magiging outcome nito is parang tutulong ka kasi gusto ko. Recognition eh. So, parang ako yan eh. Ganyan. Ako yung nandiyan. So, parang wala, pagtulong mo is parang hindi bukal sa loob. Now, we have over-justification effect. Results of bribing people to do what they are really like doing. And the over-justification effect, when the justification for an act is more than sufficient, the person may attribute the act to instinctive justification rather than to inner motive. Ngayon, kapag nasanay na yung bata, or sa bata, or parang naituro mo sa bata, na yung tamang way ng pagtulong, na hindi naman kailangan laging bibigyan ng ice cream para tumulong, dun sila magkakaroon ng extrinsic justification na parang, hindi na ako tutulong. Kasi, alam ko yan eh. Like, parang, tutulong po ako kahit walang kapalit, ganyan. Dun nangyayari yung over-justification effect. And also, we can state that the principle positively by providing people with enough justification to prompt a good deeds. Okay? Good deeds. Okay? As we may increase their pleasure in doing such deeds on their own. Okay, doing it without kapalit or doing it without considering others or other things na mangyayari sa kanila is the greatest one way to improve our altruistic motives. Okay? Na parang hindi kailangan ma-reciprocate yung tinulong ko. Or hindi kailangan na may kapalit yung pagtulong ko. So that's one of the good deeds na makakapag-socialize ng altruism, which is the attributing helpful behavior to altruistic motives. And lastly, on how we socialize our altruism is learning about altruism. Of course, when we learn about more findings or we learn yung sarili natin and other people, and we tend to learn more about helping or mas lalabas yung kusang altruism natin. And of course, before na ma-learn natin sa other people, we need first to learn it on ourselves. Because how can you help if yung sarili mo hindi mo ma-help? Or how can you help other people if you didn't know how to help yourself? Because learning starts with ourselves, and other that, we tend to perceive and respond to other people's needs. Of course, kapag independent ka na you know how to help yourself, may tendency na marunong ka na rin i-help yung other people kasi you have a capability of that. But ayun nga, remember not all the times or kailangan natin ng help ng other people. Sometimes we need to validate, to take the responsibility and interpret the things muna bago tayo gumawa ng way. And of course, sabi ni Philip Zimbardo, sa heroism project niya, this aims to strengthen people courage and compassion. Contends the first step to becoming a hero is recognizing social pressures that may deter your bystander action. Of course, dun sa study or dun sa project ni Philip Zimbardo, ang heroism project is ito yung nag-strength and of course give motivation sa tao na tumulong. Hindi lang gusto maging hero, because the true hero, you know that yourself is a hero. Hero is an recognition or ang pagiging or ang recognition na parang helpful ka, hero ka, it's just a definition. But at the end of the day, you know in yourself that you are a hero, because we only find or we only task or we already learn about altruism or we should prepare ourselves to help other people as well. Diba? Okay, this is the diagram. Okay, how can we increase helping under the restraints of the helping? First is reduce ambiguity and increase responsibility. Number 2 is enable guilt, concern, and self-image. These two are restraints on helping that we should parang bawasan natin yung iba, which is ayun nga, bawasan natin ang pagiging ambiguity and increase responsibility. And we should feel guilty, but not all the times, okay? Just a little bit guilty kung alam mo nasa tama ka, and we should be concerned on our self-image. And the third way is socialized altruism, which is we teach moral inclusion, model altruism, learning by doing, attribute helping behavior to altruistic motives, and lastly is learn about altruism. Okay. Okay. So before I end or I officially end this discussion about helping is nais namin magbigay ng short quote, which is love cures people, both the ones who give it and ones who receive it. Okay? When we help, we are showing love for other people, and it cures both the people who gives and who receives. And it doesn't matter how the gift or kung gaano kalaki yung hinelp mo sa isang tao. The matters is kung ano yung binigay natin, or the matters is kung ano yung compassionate or yung percentage na hinelp natin sa other people. And of course, one of the best examples here is, ikaw ba, nag-aaral ka ngayon or estudyante ka? Ito ba ay ginagawa mo lang dahil sa ibang tao? Kasi ito yung way ng pagtulong mo. Gusto mong tulungan yung mama mo, yung family mo. Kasi ito yung way ng pagtulong mo. Or ginagawa mo to para sa sarili mo. Kasi concerned kasi, you feel guilty kapag hindi ka nag-aral, or you are concerned for the self, doon sa sarili mo. So, ayun lang yung gusto kong iwan, na you should have, or you should practice altruism, or we should apply the altruism that we help not only for the sake of the others, but we help because ito talaga yung gusto mo. Like, hindi ka napipilitan na ito yung gusto ko eh. Gusto kong tumulong, ganyan. Gusto kong tumulong kasi ito ako. Ganyan. And I just want to let you know that helping is good. But sometimes you need to reevaluate things before making the action, or before na manghingi ng tulong. Kasi you have yourself. Okay? I think that's all for today. And on this chapter, we learn why we help, when will we help, okay? And who will help, sino-sino. And lastly is how can we increase helping. Okay, on behalf of my group, sir and classmates, thank you so much for watching our video. Okay, thank you so much and have a great day. Goodbye.